Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and jump into game number 4. You might be wondering, why is there a game number 4? If you've been tuning in for the rest of the actual series and games that have been going on, the current score is actually 3-0 in favor of Team Amazon, but these two teams are good-hearted, good-willed individuals that just want to enjoy some StarCraft, so they're actually agreeing to play out game number 4 regardless of whatever the score was, and we're actually going to go ahead and jump in and introduce the players as we spawn over here in the right-hand side of the map. Is on top of the orange Zerg player representing Team Amazon. It is the captain, Chashwe. Oh, sorry. Wow. The Rage Kage. Oh my god. Why on earth did I think it was the captain? The captain of Amazon actually plays Terran, for those who don't know, and is actually Chashwe. But this is the Rage Kage, who is also a complete badass. He's a beast also. It's also actually pronounced the Rage Cage. I just want to say that I am aware of this in case he's actually watching this. But I'm going to continue to call you the Rage Kage, because that sounds awesome. And his opponent spawning over here on the left-hand side of the map as the blue Terran player. Representing Team Garmin, it is Team Garmin's Sock. And again, don't worry, if you are a Garmin fan, then you know what? Garmin is still very much in the AHGL. They haven't actually suffered any real losses that have actually damaged their reputation. Well, anything but their maybe a little bit their reputation. But don't worry, I mean, Team Amazon's still a very strong team, so no shame in losing to them. And guess what? I have seen some players and some teams actually make miraculous comebacks later on in the season where they might lose to them the first time, but you know what? The second time, they are ready to absolutely crush face, and we'll see if Team Garmin can do that later on in the season. But I mean, for now, it's just a preseason. None of these matches actually matter. Actually, this is a 4th match that matters even less than the other 3 that didn't matter. So with that being said, this is all just for good fun, and this is the time that you get to do some kind of cheeky fun stuff, and it looks like an early SCV scouting out the Rage Cage, just making sure, okay, you're not going for any kind of early pool, right? This is Metalopolis. This is one of the very first maps that existed in StarCraft 2, at least on launch. I don't think it was one of the first maps in the beta, unfortunately, so can't make a callback that long ago. Maybe if there was, I don't know, what was that map? The one with destructible rocks. It was a desert map. It was destructible rocks into your main base. Oh man, I can't even remember it. All I can think of right now is Akalon Waste, but that is definitely not it. Regardless, there's been some pretty terrible maps that the players have to deal with, but this is actually a pretty annoying map for a Zerg player to deal with as well. We have a Roach Warren going up fairly early on for the Rage Kage, and oh my god, this is going to be a very early Roach Rush. 3 Roaches already coming out. The Reaper now coming in, but I mean, you can see he didn't actually get a scout off on the fact that there were any gas guys taken early on. Oh no! The Reaper gets chased off by the Queen, sees the natural expansion, and needs to see that gas geyser. It is of the utmost importance that he sees this gas geyser, but he sees the Roaches. The Roaches will also do as the Reaper gets taken out, and now Sock should realize, oh my god, I was going for a 1-Rax expansion. I don't have a follow-up to this. I don't have a siege tank or Marines or Marauders. He's pulling SCV. He's wondering what he should do right now. He needs to start building bunkers. He needs more than just 1 bunker, actually, I think. Maybe needs like 2 or 3, and needs to start creating a big wall up over here. Using this natural command center, this expansion, that's going to also be important to just start creating that bit of a bunker. But he's also going to want to bring some SCVs off the line and try and repair. He's going to lose those SCVs. These Roaches should target fire down those repairing SCVs, but he still needs those SCVs just to buy himself a little bit of time. The bunker is now up, and he's going to load up those 2 Marines that he does have into that bunker. It's going to be able to eventually do little bits and pieces of damage to these Roaches, but look at this. Rage Cage actually positioning the Roach that has the most health closest to the bunker, so the automatic target firing actually goes down on that weakened Roach. Uses the other Roaches to get a little bit high ground vision. Oh my god, actually he found a position where the Roaches are able to attack without actually being in range of the bunker, and now he can try and do a little bit of damage to those Marines, but no, ends up getting forced back just a little bit. That single Roach very low on health. He needs to get out of there. Oh, unfortunately his brothers not really into the plan and realizing that he needs to actually get out of there. These 2 Roaches going to be able to retreat on away though, and eventually be able to recover that health. But I mean, behind this is the scary thing about a solid player, is that they actually just go back home and they retreat and drone up like a madman behind it. They actually do aggression to try and get damage done, and expand behind it. Those are the scariest kinds of players. Those are the scariest kinds of cheesy all-in-y players, is the ones that don't actually all-in. You think it's an all-in. I'm willing to bet that right now Sock is going to be having a heart attack. He's going to be thinking, oh man, how in the world do I move out to try and deal with that kind of roach count, etc. I'm never going to be able to actually use this national expansion. Besides the fact that I guess this mule can mine a little bit faster on this side of the mineral line. That's all well and good, but Sock really does need to find some kind of answer to this situation. In the meanwhile, we have the Rage Cage going for that third expansion. Also now teching up to a Baneling Nest and getting up another Evolution Chamber. Or sorry, not Evolution Chamber. Well, he's actually getting up just multiple Gas Geysers. Maybe thinking about going up to that Lair Tech, going up to that good old Zergling, Baneling, Ling aggression. And it could work out very, very well, but now we end up seeing the Overlord coming in, seeing what is exactly up right now. He sees the third command center, which is actually a good decision. I like that from Sock. He has to kind of make up for the fact that he's going to be falling behind, not really knowing how committed the Rage Cage actually was to this aggression. But honestly, I feel like with all the three of this command center is going to be going up, he's going to have a lot of SCV production. Guess what? You know what? You could probably sacrifice a scan or something just to see what's up with your opponent. I would love to see him sacrifice a scan, just use it to find out what's going on, where your opponent's layer tech is up at, you know, just throw it down maybe somewhere around here. I think it might be also nice to just kind of scan down and see what kind of actual tech there is, but I think seeing the layer tech is going to be the important thing, because that will really be telling to say, did you go for a faster third expansion? Did you actually just tech up straight to Mutalisk or do something crazy like that? Are you about to all-in me? Or do I have a little bit of breathing space? Am I safe to take this natural? And all that kind of information is going to be very, very critical for Sock, but for now he's kind of sitting in the dark. You can see over here he doesn't really know about this third expansion, but he does have the Reaper actually out in the center of the map by this gold expansion. Doesn't see all of these Zerglings coming out now, and these Zerglings are actually in a pretty decent number. I don't think that they're enough to take on the entire army, but they're still able to do a good bit of damage. Actually going to be going after those SCVs. A pretty nice decision over there from the Rage Cage. No Banelings morphed in though, even though he does have the Baneling Nest finished up, and actually going to be going for those 1-1 upgrades, finishing up that layer tech. In the meanwhile, you can see Starport finally finishing up as for Sock, and going to be getting up that reactor. The reactor going to allow him to finally produce some of those very well needed medevacs. And I say well needed not because his units are dying and in need of healthcare or anything, but really it's just that he needs the medevacs just so he can move across the map and put on some kind of pressure, because look at this income right now. This is going to be the big difference. It's not the fact that obviously the income seems a little bit similar, but it's the fact that the Rage Cage can just drone up to 63 drones and put on aggression, and he doesn't have any fears in the world. He can put on aggression and say, oh, well, okay, this will do a little bit of damage. That's cool. I didn't need it to end the game. I didn't need it to do massive amounts of damage, just little bits of damage just to keep you at home. And look at that. A lot of the army just died. We just saw good number of Marines actually go down. You can see over here, there's only 2 Marines left. And guess what? That just resets the unit count for Sock. Sock will not be able to put on any kind of aggression once these first 2 medevacs come out. He's actually going to have to wait for another round of Marines to pop out of those barracks. This is actually really, really bad, because that also gives the Rage Cage more time to do whatever the heck he wants. And he is taking firm control of this game right now. Rage Cage dominating the game in the sense that he's also taking the gold expansion, and here's again the problem. Sock just lost so much of his army, and even though he's even on supply, actually has a pretty decent worker count. I've got to commend him. He is looking okay on a lot of fronts, so maybe if he can make some kind of miracle damage happen, he might actually still be able to make, you know, do something in this game and still look kind of strong. But it's the problem of the fact that I don't know how he's going to, because it looks like Rage Cage is just continuously limiting the options of Sock. He's saying, you know what? I don't actually need to be really far ahead. All I need to do is get a decent lead, and then just continuously limit your options by continuously attacking with Zerglings and Banelings and using burrowed Zerglings to try and force out scans. Just do these small little things to keep your unit count low, and if your unit count is low, you can't stop me from taking the gold expansion, getting up my Spire, getting up my 1-1 upgrades before you've even, or sorry, your 2-2 upgrades before you've even started your plus, well actually no, +1/+1 finished up for Sock. I take it back, Sock has been on top of those upgrades, really very well done in that regard, but still, this is finally the opportunity that Sock needed. loading up a medevac, sending it out, but he's going to be in for a treat as all of these banelings going to be moving into that third expansion very soon. And the third expansion still hasn't even landed. That's honestly the thing that's holding back the Rage Kage more than anything else, is the fact that the third expansion isn't actually there. So it's like, well, I can't really kill the third expansion or force a liftoff. It's already lifted off, so I guess I'll try and move it with some of these Zergons. No, nothing worth doing over there. Finally, the scan goes down, and that is going to be the cue as the Rage Gate, expecting that the remainder of the units are going to be trying to move in over here to try and defend this third expansion. There's actually a decent number of Marines over there. Oh, but he ends up losing a fair chunk of them. Actually, honestly, a fairly good split over there from Sok. I really, really like how he handled that. Just kind of pre-splitting the entire army worked out very, very well. But there are 4 banelings, burrowed banelings over here, and at the same time, we have the drop going down on the other side of the map. This is the kind of damage that Sok needs to do. He needs to kill off this third expansion, and maybe even be thinking about taking out the gold expansion. Can afford to do it, but taking out this fourth expansion, definitely going to be a good start. Zergons now being rallied in over here, though. It looks like they're going to be able to clean up a majority of these units. Unfortunately, he won't be able to deal with the fact that, you know, the medevac can just lift up all those units, but still, the Mutalisks now come in and answer that question very, very rapidly. Creep spread now started for the Rage Cage, and this is going to be some pretty scary creep spread in about a couple of minutes. I imagine that he's going to be actually very, very close to Sok's very own expansion. We'll have to see how Sokka is going to be able to deal with this. He has shown that he can do some nice pre-splitting for those engagements. And oh man, you picked up all the places you could have picked to actually stand. Oh, on top of the burrowed Zergling. Sees the entire army moving out, and the Rage Cage is going to be just making non-stop units, I imagine. 3-3 on the way, but the drops now coming into the main base, actually may be able to take out that 3-3 upgrade, also be able to take out the Infestation Pit. Infestation Pit has already granted him Hive Tech, but will still be wanting that Infestation Pit, probably if he ever wants to go for some kind of Infestor play or what have you. But now we see the remainder of the army moving into the gold expansion, going after some of those drones, going to be able to do some good damage. This is the kind of damage that Sok needed. This is what he needed to do. If he can take out this expansion over here and still keep a majority of the army alive, get some good engagements, he's going to be looking to be in a fairly good position. And there aren't actually that many banelings morphed out on the map right now, just these 4 over here, but really there's 9 more coming out. We're seeing that the Rage Cage just needs to buy himself a little bit more time. The gold expansion has gone down, and he is reduced back down to 3 bases. Sok actually looking to be in a great position right now. You can see that he's actually leading up in army supply right now, and actually just general supply. Ends up losing a lot of drones. We can see the Rage Cage is now trying to chase this army back across the map. Unfortunately for Sok, he's gonna have to find some kind of answer for this army. That's gonna be the big scary part of this whole thing. But I mean, he has done a great job of taking out that 4th expansion, evening up the bases, evening up the world. Not exactly evening up. Well, actually, no, he's done more than even up the work now. He's sitting up at 85 SCVs, which is actually way more than he needs right now. Actually, if Sok can just find some way to hold on, he's gonna be sitting in a pretty easy position. But here is the problem. Oh my god, holy banelings, Batman. The Rage Cage moving in with the baneling army. He's sitting up now at 51 banelings. I don't know how you split against this. There's more banelings than there are units out on the map that are not SCVs. They're just going to be exploding straight onto the command center. Now going after the SCVs. Actually, that actually might work out rather well for Sok, because SCVs are the one thing that he could actually afford to lose right now. The medevac count is actually very much intact, and the Rage Cage actually just gave away a lot of his army and a lot of gas to take out a lot of SCVs in a command center that, quite frankly, I mean, Sok could afford to lose. Honestly, he could have just lifted off this main command center and landed at the natural, and he would just be on the exact same kind of mining as he was before. The Rage Cage might be in a little bit of trouble, but this army is going to be taken out by a lot of these Zergons. Here is actually one of the big differences. 1-1 upgrades versus the 2-2, soon to be 3-3 upgrades of the Rage Cage, and with 3-3 finishing up, I mean, he could very well throw down an Ultraless Cavern, start retaking this gold expansion, and he's going to be in a very, very scary position. GG gets called, Sok going to tap out, and the Rage Cage going to bring the series to a 4-0 victory for Amazon. And hopefully you guys enjoyed that series. So thank you guys so much for tuning in for the broadcast. If you guys want to check out more of the After Hours Gaming League, you do want to stick around and find out exactly how the rest of the season is going to go. Of course, this is Amazon versus Garmin preseason match. The season has not started, but it's for the AHGL season number 5. Now, of course, my name is Fear Dragon. If you want to follow me, just feel free to follow me on this channel, youtube.com/FearDragon64, twitter.com/FearDragon64, and twitch.tv/FearDragon64 for the live broadcast broadcasts of the AHGL as well as some other stuff. And there are actually a couple of other AHGL casters that I do want to say you can go ahead and check out. I know that Wingnut SC2 is going to be doing. I know that Jackson Hughes, Nightshade, as well as one or two others. So if you want to check them out, be sure to go to the AHGL.TV website and check out the After Hours Gaming League. But with that being said, congratulations to Amazon on their 3-0 victory in the preseason match. Of course, the team Garmin, still a very strong team and showing some pretty cool games. I mean, not afraid to go for the Fleet Biggin, if I do say so myself. Awesome from Team Garmin. I'm looking forward to seeing how they're going to perform in the actual AHGL season. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in and have a wonderful night.